Hi, I'm Steve, and welcome to Virobus.
And I'm Alan.
Alan, as always, I want to remind folks that are watching these, if they check the text, we always have links to videos, resources, those kinds of things. But last time we were together, we talked about the 3 M's: money, management, marketing.
Correct.
How'd I do on that?
You did pretty good. You kind of freaked me out there for a second because I have them a certain way: money, marketing, and management. So you've even freaked me out.
I didn't want to throw you a curve. But we're going to talk now, you're going to talk now about the money part. So when you're starting to talk with a new business owner or a business owner about money, what are the things you talk about with them?
Well, you know, I'll tell you, the most critical part on money, and it's so surprising, is I have to get them to take their shoes off. Come around the desk. I've actually got a pair of banker shoes. And I say, you know what, why don't you, let me do you a favor. Take your shoes off, come around, put these shoes on right quick. When they do, they have a totally different perspective about their business whenever it comes to trying to get money, because they have been so caught up in me or I for so long, they've forgotten that there's anyone else that would be interested in their business or why they would be. So when we do that, all of a sudden they have a little pause and they start thinking about this from a different perspective.
Okay, and then where do you take them from after that?
Once they get that idea in their head, then really it's about how or am I going to get a bank or anyone else interested in my business.
So the first thing is a mind shift.
Exactly.
How you're looking at the issue. Then you start talking about what are your other options for getting money.
Correct.
Now, is that basically for startup, or is that I need some cash ongoing?
It could be both.
Okay.
One of the things, there's 2 foundational elements, and that's what I call them whenever it comes to money, and that is today is not forever, and no means not today because. And my point is, today is not forever. If today is forever, then whatever you have as your tools and your situation, you go today and I put it all on number 8 today. I'm going to do it. I don't care, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. Whether it makes sense or not, I'm doing it. That's today is forever. If you don't believe that, if you truly believe today is not forever, then you have a chance to pause or look at your business and decide on some things that could happen tomorrow or the next day. The other one is when someone tells you no, that means not today because. You should always understand what their no means. Because today is not forever, they may be telling you no because they don't have money. They may be telling you no because it's not the right time for me. There's a variety of reasons for no.
And I guess that implies that I've heard people say this: I went to my banker and he said no.
Correct.
But that doesn't mean there's not another banker down the street.
That's exactly right.
Who might say yes.
That's exactly right. Another situation that I tell people is whenever you look at a bank, we've kind of confused people by putting this big sign out front that says BANK. The problem with that is we think they're all the same. And the example I use is in the clothing industry. Whenever you go to the Nike store to get a pair of shoes, are you upset because they don't have lingerie? Or do you go to the Burlington coat factory and get upset when they don't have your tennis shoes? They're all in the clothing industry, but they're very different. The same thing holds true in the banks.
So does that also imply then that as a business owner, you need to be really aware of the financial community that you live in?
That's exactly right. I tell people you should ask 3 questions when you go to the bank. First of all, you should take nothing with you. You need to go with the clothes on your back. And as crazy as that sounds, that's what you do. You want to ask, first of all, there's maybe 4 questions. The first one is you want to ask for a loan officer. If they only have one, then you've given them a compliment. Once you get in front of the loan officer, then you want to ask, first of all, I'd like to know if your bank has money to lend. Now, that may sound funny, but in this day and age, there are some times
and in the economy right now, there's a lot of banks not lending money.
That's right. Yeah. Number 2, would your bank be interested in someone like me in this industry, in my industry? When they reply, well, that depends on your credit score, then you need to say, with all due respect, that's not what I ask you. I ask you, would your bank be interested in someone like me in this industry? When they say yes, then the third question is, how many SBA loan guarantees have you done in the last year? When they say, well, we're thinking about that, or we've done 1 or 2, well, that's one category. When they say, well, we've done 15 the last year, that's another category. You need to know that depending on your situation. You may be going for an SBA loan guarantee, and that's a whole nother ball of wax, and I know it. But those are the three most important questions you want to ask.
So in future webcasts, we'll talk more about those other items. But basically, you're saying, number one, in going to the bank or starting to find that money. Is a banker the only option?
No, they're not. There are conventional way of going, and it's what most people go to begin with. It can be a very painful process.
Mm-hmm. What are those other options for
money? Well, you go from the bank, then you go into angel investors. You have personal parents, family, or friends. Mm-hmm. You have the SBA that's going to back the loan mm-hmm. with the bank. You have venture capital. So you've got a variety of ways that it can happen beyond just the bank.
Tell me, what's an angel investor? I hear that term. I kind of understand, but I want to make sure that I understand what an angel investor is.
Okay. An angel investor, basically the rules are, an angel investor is someone that has become mega successful in their business, mm-hmm. in their industry. And that could be a family business. They are, number two, they still have an entrepreneurial spirit about them. Number three, they're not advertising. This is someone you're going to have to find on your own. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to network to find them. When you find someone like that, if they're not advertising and they have money and they're successful in your industry, then they may be interested in your business.
Okay, and so you're just finding somebody that out of the goodness of their heart and they love their industry, they may loan you money.
They may loan you money. They may be part of your business. And people say, well, what's the going rate? What's the percentage? Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? That's between you and the person you're engaging. The rule I can tell you is he who speaks first generally loses.
Generally, yeah, the one that offers up a percentage first.
Right. So okay. What you need to do is if you find someone that's interested that you start talking to, you want to say to them, what would you be interested in? What would you want mm-hmm. to have as your part for this business?
Yeah. What's the upside and the downside of an angel investor?
The upside is the fact that you've got someone that's interested in your type of business. You don't have to sell them on your industry, or you don't have to sell them on where you're at, whatever that is. That's the first issue. Mm-hmm. With a lot of people, you do. The second part then is the downside is they're going to want a part of your business. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, they're not going to be quite so kind as to say, well, sure, here's all my money, and when you're through with it, just give it back.
Yeah, let me know how that works out for you.
Sure.
Yeah. Family, friends, investing in your business.
Sure. When it comes to family and friends, I think the most important part of this is it gets kind of freaky. We get emotional. We get kind of weird with it. The problem with that is we don't know what family member or what friend may really want to be part of our business. Mm-hmm. That in those cases, what we need to do is be able to go to them in a way that we give them the space to say no. Mm-hmm. So I come to you and say, hey, Steve, I've got a business opportunity and I'd like to get your opinion on it. By doing that, I'm not really doing anything to hamper my friendship with you. I'm asking you a pretty simple question. I've got an opportunity and I'd like for you to give me your opinion on it. That kind of gives you the, wow, you want my opinion? Sure. And so that starts the engagement. Beyond that then, based on what they say, you can say, Steve, if you're interested in this, I'd like for you to tell me if you'd be considering, if you'd want to consider this as a possible opportunity mm-hmm. to get involved with me. And that's like, well, what do you mean by that? That's pretty wide open. That's what you want. Okay. And that way, then Steve can engage me and say, you know, I like the opportunity, but right now my risk capital is spoken for, or I've got some I'd like to talk to you about.
Yeah. Upside, downside of family and friends investing in your business?
Well, it's probably the most obvious is that you're talking about getting someone else involved. That whenever you do, the family or the friendship now becomes a business relationship. When you do that, the first thing I tell people is put it in writing. Whatever you're going to do, put it in writing. Yeah. If you don't, the downside is we can both be on a different page and not even know it. It may not even be bad intentions. Mm-hmm. The other side of it is, like I said, Uncle Tom now is going to be your business partner, if that's the case.
Yeah. Venture capital. How's that different than an angel investor?
It's the first difference is understanding that they are advertising. They are looking. So with them looking for opportunities like yours, you've got to understand that we are probably 90 to 95 times out of 100 going to get a no. They're running through it's a machine. And so when you go looking, that's the first tip, is understand there's a lot of no's. You're rarely going to see a yes.
They're intentionally looking for the best opportunity.
Sure. And their best opportunity doesn't mean it's necessarily the strongest business opportunity, because they're thinking about themselves. So they're looking through these, and they may see A, B, and C, and A may be and that could be your business, and it could be the greatest opportunity as far as a business. It's very strong. It's got a strong business plan. But you're not wanting to give away as much as they're wanting to take, or it doesn't fall quite in line with what their business plan is right now. So they may tell you no, and you could get confused about that, going, well, am I not good enough? No, you're just not what we're looking for.
Hey, thanks for that overview. Again, you're going to do a lot more in-depth discussion about money, aren't you, for us?
Sure.
Okay. Catch us next time for Virobus, and we'll talk some more about the 3 M's.